grew up in Brooklyn. The American dream was alive and well. My dad came to this country from Poland at the age of 17, didn't have a nickel in his pocket. Together, we are going to create an economy that works for all of us, for the elderly, the children, the sick, the poor, the middle class, and the working families of this country, not just the 1%.
Just incredible. Bernie Sanders last night in New York City. And Bernie has added one more iconic moment to this campaign. I remember him standing on the back of the pickup truck in New Hampshire with a microphone, looking a lot like Bobby Kennedy, a Bobby Kennedy shot from '68, after his Iowa win or tie or draw. And then the America ad, and Mike, that last night, just
27,000 people in Washington Square. I mean, forget the polls. Why would he get out? Why would he get out? Drawing that kind of crowd, that kind of enthusiasm. Casey Hunt, you were there last night.
I was. This is peak Bernie Sanders. I mean, this is everything that we've been talking about for the last 3 months kind of all came together in one. And you could see it even when he took the stage. He was a little bit emotional and sort of stepped back to really take it all in. I think he's, as he's had to fight the narrative that he should get out and that Hillary Clinton is going to be the presumptive Democratic nominee, I think this, at the end of the day, is what keeps them in this.
Few rallies like this, John Heilman, in modern American politics. It happens, but it happens rarely. And in the heat of a primary in New York State, in New York City, in the top media market in the country, just an absolutely stunning, some stunning shots.
They're stunning visuals, and a lot of what campaigning in New York is about, when you have a primary here, is about making moments, right? And the moment that because this is the media capital of the world, that these images get captured, they get broadcast, they echo louder and longer than they do other places. And so, in some ways, Sanders, going to places like Topeka, Kansas, and places that Casey's been and that I've been, on like a Tuesday afternoon where he'll get 10 or 12,000 people, in some ways more impressive.
Right.
But the image that gets broadcast, and in the context of this primary, these are the kind of moments that can make a difference, at least in terms of how the narrative of the primary unfolds.
And, Caddy, he needs this momentum. The polls showing he's behind in New York State. It's a state he has to win.
Yeah, I mean, that's the question, is where does the moment lead to, right? I mean, we're still in the same position that we were in before this rally happened. Yeah, it looks great for him. Yes, clearly he can get the huge crowds. Of course, now he doesn't have to pull out, and he's been making that argument. We keep winning. We keep getting these big crowds. We're not going to pull out. But the reality is still that the numbers are stacked against him, and she still looks like the presumptive nominee.
If you can just keep that British cynicism on that side of it. No, you're right. If you don't translate it, it to votes, it doesn't matter. It looks
fabulous.
It does.
Barack Obama translated it into votes. He had fewer people in his crowd in 2007, but
September 2007, huge crowd, same place.
Last night we did hear him for the first time kind of acknowledge that this was going to be a tough primary for him. He was up there on that stage and said, we know this is going to be hard, partly because of the way the primary is structured. Independents can't vote. A lot of people didn't switch their registration in time. They know that that's an uphill battle for them. But I think there is a sense from the campaign, and John, I think you've picked up on some of this too, that if they can't come out of New York with a big win, they really have to sort of start to reckon with how and if they're going to close this.
Well, I mean, just remember, the key thing here is that if Bernie Sanders wins this primary by a point or two, it will actually hurt him, in the sense that in order to actually get to a majority of delegates, he needs to win these primaries by large margins. If he wins by 2 points here, it'll be a psychic victory. It'll be a huge momentum boost, and yet it won't get him any actual net delegates, and he's 200 and some odd delegates behind in the pledged delegate count. And he has to start making up that ground. If he doesn't make it up, in terms of the math, it doesn't help to win here by 1 or 2 or 3 percentage points. win here by 10, and that's just not very likely to happen for him to actually gain delegates against her.
It doesn't help in the math, but Mike, it does. Talk about the intangibles. Beating Hillary Clinton in her home state, that would run his winning streak up to what, 8, 9?
Yeah, and speaking of the intangibles, there's one intangible that's sort of mystifying to me, viewing it from a distance. You two have viewed it up close. The New York feel. Who has a better sense of it? Does Bernie, born in Brooklyn, or Hillary, who has represented New York? Because the crowd last night was spectacular. I don't think it was the essence of New York. I mean, it was largely young, very enthusiastic, and good for Bernie. But who has a better sense of the state?
Well, I think she has had, if you look at the period of time, the week basically, that they've been here now in the state campaigning, she has shown a better feel for the totality of New York, for the media dynamics. She's won more news cycles in the last week than he has. And, you know, it makes sense. He has, although he's from Brooklyn, he's been a Vermont politician his entire career. She, although she's not won here in a decade, she still has won statewide here twice, once resoundingly back in 2006. I think she gets a little bit, she gets this state a little better in terms of how you win the day, how you get the rough and tumble. She's a little stronger than he is, I think.
She spent a lot of time. She can still bank on her 2006 experience and the realization of how much time she had to spend upstate. She spent a lot of time on that listening tour.
And by the way, and she also campaigned against Obama here in 2008 and beat him pretty soundly. So she's done this state a lot. You know?
And by the way, just for the record, welcome to Morning Joe.
Oh, wait, that's why we're here.
We're here today.
Mika is in the south of France checking her second house out in Nice. She has 2 houses in Nice. It's
a nice
impressive.
place.
Yeah.
Is she going to take the Barnicle pickup truck to Nice? Is that going to be a thing?
She's got the city place and the country place in Nice. Yeah, you got it.
I mean, seriously, please.
And poor thing, it takes a lot of time up. You know,
it does. It does. I mean, all of the people that work for her in those 2 houses, it's pretty hard. Anyway, Mike Barnicle, who is he, guys? Is he legendary or what?
Legendary columnist.
Let's have Casey Hunt with us, John Heilman, and Caddy K.